Mr. Suniga,
Yes, Your Honor.
would you please raise your right hand? You solemnly swear that in these proceedings, the information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may put your hand up. What is the essence of what we're going to do here? Is there going to be a plea on everything or nothing or what?
Your Honor, it's going to, he's just going to do 60 days in jail on case, let me get the case number. I apologize, Your Honor. Let's see.
It's 632377, Caitlin.
That's correct. Sorry about that.
Okay.
All right. Then, Mr. Suniga, before we proceed, I want to discuss your constitutional rights and protections verbally. It'll be recorded, officially recorded by the court reporter, Ms. Kayleen Rivera. And then you will find that in the discussion and review of the paperwork we're going to be doing, those same rights and protections are going to be repeated several times, at least twice in the documentation. It is my understanding that there is a plea bargain at this time that you will plead to 632377, unlawfully carrying a weapon, and that the other 3 cases will be taken in consideration. That is 600594, 640292, and 656536. Ms. Headland, as his attorney, am I accurate in what I've just recited?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. Now, Mr. Suniga, let's talk about those rights and protections. You have the right to remain silent. That means you do not have to make any kind of statement. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to submit written paperwork, especially papers that have your signature and contain a confession or admission to wrongdoing. Do you understand you have that right?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to a jury trial. On each of these cases, these rights apply to each one individually. But on each of these cases, you have the right to a jury trial. That is, you and your attorney and the state's attorneys would be selecting from a pool of randomly selected people, at least 6 people to hear your case, the evidence, the testimony, everything presented, for the purpose of deciding, they would decide whether you're guilty or not guilty. That's the right to a jury trial. You understand you have that right?
Yes.
You have the right to confront or face your accusers or the witnesses. That means you and your attorney would have the right to ask questions, to challenge, to cross-examine anyone who would testify. If you go to trial, you'd have that right. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to appeal. That is essentially a right that you by yourself or your attorney by herself, or the 2 of you together, would have the right to demand that a higher court review the official record, the evidence, testimony, everything involved in this case that is presented of record, to review it for whatever challenge you wanted to make. That's essentially or simply what's called the right to appeal. Do you understand you have that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you and the state individually, so that means both of you have the right to demand that this proceeding be held in an open courtroom, a public open courtroom. Right now, we're not doing those in the normal sense of the word. What we're doing is video conferencing. And that video conference is being streamed on YouTube, so the public can tune in and see and hear what's going on. Nonetheless, this is not the way that it's normally done. So, but you have the right to demand that, and so does the state. Do you understand that you have that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, these rights that we've just mentioned, that we just discussed, those rights you give up if you persist in a plea, in a deal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, I'm going to show you some documents, and it's my understanding that you have reviewed each of these with your attorney. The documents will start off at the top with what I call identifying information on each one. At the top, it shows the case number 632377, which is the one that you've agreed to plead to. Then it says the state of Texas versus Paul Matthew Zuniga with an S. It says in County Court at Law number 5, Bexar County, Texas. That is the identifying information that will be repeated on almost every document with one exception. Then it says the title of the document, which is state's consent to video conference. And I point that out, it's the state's consent. That the titles to the documents will ordinarily be in all capitals, bold print. This one is signed by the state's attorney, Caitlin C. Morgan. And it says that they're agreeing to give up the right to demand this be done in a public hearing. Did you review and understand that document?
Yes.
All right. Now, what we're showing you is the second document is the repeat of the identifying information. Then it says discovery acknowledgement. This is simple. There's a law called Article 39.14 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. This one says that the law requiring the state, the prosecutors, to share with your attorney all the information, receipts, documents, videos, whatever exists that's evidence, they have to share it with you so that you can be fully informed. That is, you know what's going on, have everything in your hands, and that you can make an intelligent decision about this. This is signed by you and your attorney. Pardon me. It's signed by the state's attorney and your attorney, indicating that that law has been obeyed. It's been fulfilled. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. The next document is yours. This is where you consent to video conference. Did you review this with your attorney and sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The next document, sir, is the defendant's waiver of constitutional rights in court's admonitions. This is, again, a repetition of the rights that we talked about briefly for the most part. Again, the identifying information. I've read to you the title. It starts off with 3 individual sentences. The main thing I want you to be aware of, it says you're pleading that you're charged, you're charged with unlawfully carrying a weapon, and you hereby enter a plea of nolo contendere, which is no contest. I would point out to you that a nolo contendere plea in this court is taken as a guilty plea and will be sufficient to convict you. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Zuniga, the rest of this document essentially is divided into 15 numbered sections or divisions. This first one is the range of punishment that you can be given for the violation of these laws. This one has a check mark next to Class A. What does it say for the punishment, sir?
0 to 4,000.
Pardon me, Judge, I can't hear him.
To 1 year.
Okay. Thelma, is there any way we can adjust the volume? It is a little bit harder to, or can you get a little closer to the microphone?
It's 0 to 4,000 fine and 0 days to 1 year in jail.
Very good. Okay, thank you, Thelma. And that, I'm sure you can hear it clearly, Ms. Rivera.
Yes, sir. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Now, Mr. Zuniga, I want you to read for me number 2, right at the top there.
I understand I have a right to jury trial and right to cross-examination of witness and right to remain silent, and I freely and voluntarily give up those rights.
All right. So you're able to read and understand what it says. It is important that's why I asked you to do that. You read the rest of this with your attorney and you understand what it says. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Number 5, have you ever been involved with the sex offender registration program?
No, sir.
And You were speaking very nice and strong. Now you're weak again.
No, sir.
There you go. Thank you very much. Number 8, where were you born, sir?
In San Antonio, Texas.
The files, the record would show that you are a U.S. citizen. All right. Do you have any questions about this particular document, sir?
No, sir.
Ms. Hedlund, as an officer of the court, you're telling me that y'all review this together and you have no doubt that he understands what they say.
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Next document. This one is a certification that I make to you. Repeat of the identifying information, then the title of the document, trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. There's a series of small boxes vertically stacked. Each one says something about a different type of plea, of right of appeal. This one with a check mark says, I certify that as a judge that this is a plea bargain case and the defendant has no right of appeal. Is that correct?
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
see that?
Yes,
All
Your
right.
Honor.
It is signed by me and it is also signed by you and your attorney. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, there's no application for probation. It's my understanding that y'all have agreed to a specific sentence. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
All right. The next document you will see is being reloaded right now is what's called a plea agreement. At the top, it has your name and the court case number. It does not mention County Court 5. The first 2 boxes I will have marked. The first one, guess what it talks about? Again, the right to remain silent. It is a particularly important right. So we're making sure that you understand it. That one's in writing. The second box will be marked wherein I make a record that you are a U.S. citizen. Then the next section with bold print says defendant's acknowledgements. Mr. Zuniga, what that says is each check mark says something about your particular rights, constitutional rights and protections. And did you read this section with your attorney and did you understand what it says?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any questions about this?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Now, officially, to the charge of unlawfully carrying a weapon, how do you plead, sir?
You're going to tell that you plead no.
I plead no contest.
Very good. As I mentioned earlier, and I'll repeat for you again, a no contest plea is taken by this court as a guilty plea and will be sufficient to convict you. Now, Ms. Hedlund, when is it intended that he surrenders for purposes of serving his sentence?
Your Honor, he just briefly to go back to the top of the plea agreement. I think you could judicially mark the case number is incorrect at the top of this agreement.
Okay.
So in case you need to correct that.
Absolutely. Right here it says 600594. And I see we've got the wrong case. That has to be corrected, Ms. Garcia and Ms. Flores. I need to make that 632377. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So the court will acknowledge that we have, throughout this document, we've been talking about 632377. And this particular document will so be noted. Now, the question, Ms. Hedlund,
Yes.
when will he surrender? When are we going to do this?
Your Honor, he is ready today. That's why we appeared in person. I believe as long as it's okay with Deputy and Your Honor, then he is ready today.
Okay, then before he leaves the courtroom, because he's going to surrender, Ms. Castillo, I want you to have his thumbprint placed on the documents in accordance with law. You know what we're talking about. Is that correct, Ms. Castillo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, you are ordered to make sure that your thumbprint is placed on there, sir. Now, based on your plea, I find you guilty. At this point, you're sentenced to 60 days, Bexar County Jail, no fine or cost. You're credited for time served, time and money to run concurrently. As a result of this plea, the court hereby dismisses cases number 640 292, 656, 536, and 600594. The motion to forfeit the weapons to Attorney Valerie Headland. Question: Are these weapons going to be in lieu of the payment for the court-appointed fee?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Then that being noted on the record, that motions are granted. Now, tell me, Mr. Suniga, about your history. Do you have family?
Yes, Your Honor.
Give me a little more detail. Are you married, children, what?
I'm single. I'm 19 years old. I live with my mom still. That's about it.
You don't have any children that you have to support or pay child support for?
No, sir.
All right. Ms. Headland, I'll hear you on that 60 days. I'm not married to that, although I understand it was
Yes.
a reasonable and legitimate punishment that y'all have agreed on. I'm not in a hurry to see somebody, especially during the COVID matter, still go over there and spend 60 days anytime at all, but that is a legitimate decision, especially with the number of cases involved. I will hear both of you, Ms. Headland first, and then Ms. Morgan.
Yes, Your Honor. I have been representing Mr. Suniga since January of 2020. So a year and 4 months now. I believe, even though Mr. Suniga may not admit it, that Mr. Suniga has fallen in with some unfavorable types. As you can see, they're all basically the same charges. We've been waiting for quite a long time for docket to just come back on the original 2 cases that I was appointed to, and he subsequently picked up 2 more cases. I do believe that he's aware of the consequence of his actions. We would ask for, I know that the jail sentences and the plea is marked for credit for time served. I calculated, Your Honor, around 30 days, possibly. I don't know if somebody could verify that for us, but I believe through the original case and the subsequent cases, he may have around 30 days in already. So I'm hoping that between that and this sentence, he won't be there too long. He has been very well supported by his mom. His mom has been here with him at every court appearance. His mom brought him to my office this afternoon. I do believe that he has some issues as far as income and ability to pay. And I think between that and the time that it would take to make amends through probation, that he has chosen in lieu of the original offer of 1 year deferred. Well, it was actually a straight probation officer, Your Honor. So a straight probation offer for 18 months. And so he asked this court and the prosecution for a 60-day jail sentence in lieu of probation.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Morgan.
Your Honor, the state had gone with 60 days just because, given the defendant's criminal history, I felt that 60 days was more suited so that, if he was given probation, he may not be able to complete it successfully and just end up back here in the court. I am okay if you want to reduce that to 30 days. I'm not too sure on how many days he actually has in jail. I have that he only has 5, but if he has more than that, then that'll help him out. But I'm not sure on how many days he does have in jail.
Ms. Garcia, have you been able to check anything on that?
Yes, sir. On the particular case that he pled to, he's got a total of 2 days. On the others, it ranges from 4, 3, and 1 day.
So sum total is what?
It's not a
Oh,
matter
oh.
of total, Your Honor. It's for each case. So for this case that he pled to, he's
I
got 2
understand.
days.
Okay,
So
so he's got 2 for this one. And let's start at the top, 600594, how many days?
Three days.
All right. For 292, 640-292,
1 day.
and 656-536.
1 day.
So he's got a total of 7 total, and I realize they're not specifically for this one case.
Your Honor, may I just interrupt? Patty, I did show, was he not in from 5/8 of 20 to 5/29 on the 640-292 case? You don't see any more days?
It shows him in jail for that particular case, May 29, 2020 to May 29, 2020.
Oh, I showed him going in on May 8th, so maybe I was looking at the wrong thing, and then coming out on 5/29. So my numbers are probably wrong, Patty. It's okay.
Okay.
Alrighty. Mr. Suniga, you
Yes,
said
Your
you're
Honor.
19 years old. You've been in jail a couple of days here and there. How do you like that life spending time in jail?
That's not fun, sir.
Yeah? So how come you repeated it a total of 4 times? Actually, once and then 3 more times you got unlawfully carried. Why?
I was just stupid, and I don't know, honestly. I was
Well,
just
stupid don't cut it with me. I'm talking to a young man, not a baby. 5, 6-year-old might say, well, I'm stupid. I don't buy that. You're 19 years old, you're a man, you're an adult.
yes.
Why shouldn't I go with 60 days?
I'm working right now, but I told him that I was having this little problem that's going on right now.
Where are you working?
I was working doing a rebar with a company called it's called a rebar solution.
Full-time or part-time?
Is that concrete work?
No, yes, sir. It's involved with concrete.
Yeah.
It's,
You
yes.
do the metal
stuff
rods and wire to put
Yes,
in
sir.
there.
Yes, sir.
All right. And what were you doing with the money you got? You buy pistols or what?
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, I did.
Well, if I cut the sentence down, what kind of commitment are you going to make to me about having weapons anymore?
That I will not have none no more.
Really?
Yes,
Now
sir.
tell me why I should believe that.
Um,
I know I'm giving you a hard time. I intend to.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I'll give you credit for time served for a total of 5 days. And then I'm going to cut it down to 30-day sentence. But let me promise you something. If you get in any more trouble, guess who you're going to come and see?
You, Your Honor.
That's right. You think I'll forget?
No, Your Honor.
You might hope and pray, but you better sure as hell stay out of trouble.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're hearing me?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have a father that's still with you?
Yes, I do.
Or are you living with, or is he with your mom, or they live separately?
They're separately right now.
Okay. So you live with your mom, are you helping her?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I expect you to help her. If we hear anything different, you get in any trouble, guess whose ass that's going to be?
Mine, Your Honor.
That's right. Hanging around with the wrong crowd, that can be fun. until your butt winds up in jail.
Yes.
And then where you could be helping your mom, guess where you're gonna be? Eating that wonderful Bear County jail food. You better think about this.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that'll be the sentence. Any questions, Mr. Suniga?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions, Ms. Headland?
No, Your Honor, and we really appreciate the reduction in consideration. And I've advised Mr. Suniga that the only outcome to running in these circles and carrying guns is probably dead in a ditch somewhere. So I'm really hoping and praying that this is a wake-up call for him to finally put this behind him.
Well, what I'm hoping too, Ms. Headland, is that he cares enough about his mother that he would spare her the grief of seeing him get killed or shot by police or whatever, and that he realizes that at 19, he's got a whole life ahead of him. So,
Yes, he does.
any questions, Ms. Morgan?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
All right.